I'd like to greet you all. I'm Lula Magasa, and with me I have Nasiha Khan and Trisha Sukela, and we are coming from Group 11.
Greetings, my name is Nobupiwa Andilishezi, and I'll be taking you through the net profit after tax for P&G. For importing, the size of our target market is 14,194,723. According to the data presented to us, 70% of our target market order families will suffer from cough and will buy 1.4 units. The sales for year one are 365 million, and the net profit after tax for year one is 239 million. Net profit after tax for second year is 213 million. The net profit after tax for third year is 237 million. For manufacturing the local plant, the provided information stated that the firm produces 5,000 units of cough syrup per day. Net profit after tax for year one is 20 million. The net profit after tax for second year is 35 million, and the net profit after tax for third year is 41 million. Looking at the net profit after tax for both importing and building a local plant, we can see that a firm will be able to generate profit by either importing or building.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Trisha, and I will be doing the NPV analysis presentation. So we decided to go for two options, importing the product as well as building our own plant. So the first one that we're going to analyze is importing the product. So as you can see with our sales figure rounded up for year one, it amounts to a whopping 365 million. And our TCF for the year is 143 million, mounting and projecting an NPV of a sweet 393 million rands, right? So comparing that with building a plant, we can evidently see that the figures are actually much lower. For the sales parts in year one, we get 66 million, and then with the TCF, we get 39 million. Our NPV amounts to a disappointing 55 million, but still acceptable. So comparing importing and exporting, importing and building our own plant, forgive me, we recognize that we'd rather actually import since our NPV is much higher. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Nasiha Khan, and I'll be discussing the break-even sales volume for both importing and manufacturing the product. In order to determine whether the company wanted to manufacture the product locally or import the product, we had to calculate the break-even sales volume. This was done using both the accounting break-even as well as the present value break-even. If the product were to be manufactured locally, the accounting break-even is calculated to be 51,040 units, and the present value break-even is seen as 25,500 units. With regard to importing the product, the accounting break-even is 134,300 units, whereas the present value is 258,300. These figures were calculated using Procter & Gamble's year-end financial statements as well as the current market rates. Thank you.
The above analysis shows the sensitivities of price and volume. The drop of 10% is measured against the base case. Revenues for each year show the decrease of 10% where both unit and price per cough syrup changes. The analysis predicts a drop in volume, which results in a drop in both revenues and variable costs, whether we manufacture the product locally or whether we import the products. For each year, a 10% drop in volume leads to a 20% drop in operating margin. However, a 10% drop in price leads to a 50% drop in operating margin. In this analysis, we analyze the effect of varying one model input factor at a time while keeping all other factors fixed. In year one, we see that the revenue and variable costs are the same, therefore sensitivities are low.
Check if the launch criteria was met, we looked at the short-term and long-term implications. Looking at the long-term implications, we used return on owner's equity. In the year 2019, the ROE was 19,85%, and in 2020, it was 60,41%. Launching this product will generate long-term benefits for Procter & Gamble. By looking at the short-term implications, we looked at the NPV for the imports, which was at 39 million, and the local plants was at 45 million. Both projects generate positive NPVs and are both acceptable. However, we will go for the local plant NPV as it appears to be higher and will generate higher value for the firm. By looking at the present value break-even, the local break-even was 392,000, lower than the 273 million break-even units, making the local plant's launch favorable. Using the same calculation, we saw that the break-even for the imports was 50,000 and the break-even units were at 364 million. We will therefore opt for the import launch as it has a lower break-even number.
We know for any project to be accepted, the NPV needs to generate positive values. In our case, P&G's NPV for year 1 to 3 for both options of importing and manufacturing locally generated high NPVs. However, the NPV for importing was 325,133,716, which was lower than the NPV of manufacturing locally. Therefore, the overall strategic recommendation is to manufacture the product locally.
The calculated amount of all financial and accounting break-even point for imported products are greater than the calculated amount of both financial and accounting break-even point for building a local plant. This shows that if P&G builds a local plant, the business will make profits sooner. We recommend that P&G should build a local plant because it has higher NPV and lower break-even point units.
Moving on to areas to focus on for growth acceleration in South Africa. Focus on allocating more funds into marketing. Sales were highly affected in the second year by the budget cut from 364 million in year 1 down to 328 million in year 2, even after the increase of 20% in sales was considered. Thank you.
Okay, done. The risks that the company should consider include exchange rate risk. This deals with the currencies and exchange rate fluctuations of the parties and the countries involved.
Another risk that Procter & Gamble should consider is consumer behavior risk, which relates to the behavior patterns and changes of consumers and how their purchasing patterns will affect the company's sales.
Other risks include political risk, operational risk, and marketing risk. Thank you.